till the day I die.
Thank you so much for joining episode 7. Guys, it's editing Sneha from the future. We're not on episode 7. We're on episode 11. But I just continue to say 7, but we're on episode 11. Thanks, bye. I don't know why I was going to do it as if like, oh, episode 7, cue the music. If you were here yesterday on the planet of the Earth, you may have heard of something called a solar eclipse. It was happening near my area around like 2-3 o'clock. And there was a lot of people outside recording their experience of like putting the sunglasses on, or not the sunglasses, the shades, and looking at the sunlight. I did not. I was just like, okay. My mom was like, just don't go outside. And I was like, what? Why would I go outside? She's like, don't look into the light. I'm like, why would I just look out into it directly with my eyeballs? It was quite interesting to see. Like, everyone was super excited to see it. And I didn't know they were like selling glasses. We only found out until like after, when like we saw so many people having these glasses, and I'm like, what? And then I think it was Vidya, she's at Instagram or TikTok or talks about all the time. She was saying that at her store, like near her place, it was $5 for glasses and all that stuff. And obviously these are not just like, those 3D like cheap glasses. They're like certified, and like it's made by a certain like, producer saying like, hey, this will not burn your eyes or like ruin your eyes. And you can look at the eclipse as it's happening. When you're on social media, the amount of people, it was like either people were really excited about the solar eclipse and just to watch it. That was one group. Then there was a second group about talking about this like bad juju or like bad luck going on with the eclipse. That was like one group. And then there were some that were like explaining like back when the last time it happened, people were explaining like, oh yeah, a lot of bad things happened to me during that time. Then there was a whole other portion where it was talking about the zodiac signs. And I was like, this is a lot. This is a lot for just a solar eclipse. A lot of people also had a thing of, some cultures, and it's not just Indians. What I've noticed was there was a lot of people who shared common ground of don't go outside. Like their parents told them since they were younger, like, do not go outside during the solar eclipse. And you know what I mean? Whereas like obviously a lot of people were going outside. But I wanted her to know like how common that was, because I remember I saw one video saying that like there's been a lot of ancient history about, the solar eclipse and the effects and meaning. So here are the theories around the world. Now keep in mind, this is just based off of this article written by Melissa. So for Chinese, in ancient China, it was commonly held that solar eclipses occurred when a celestial dragon attacked and devoured the sun. Chinese eclipses occur and are some of the oldest in the world and go back for more than 4,000 years. Wow. And at least one simply states the sun has been eaten to frighten away the dragon and save the sun. Then we have Hindus. Then we have Indian, which is ancient Hindu mythology provides a rather graphic and disturbing explanation for solar eclipses. According to legend, a cunning demon named Rahu sought to drink the nectar of the gods and thus attain immortality. Disguised as a woman, Rahu attempted to attend a banquet of the gods and was discovered by Vishnu. As punishment, the demon was promptly beheaded, and it is his decapitated head flying across the sky that darkens the sun during an eclipse. Some versions say that Rahu was actually able to steal a sip of the nectar, but was beheaded before the elixir reached his head. Oh, so it's like light and then boom, darkness. Like, is it like that? Visual representation? Kind of like light and then darkness and then light. Okay. Indians of South America worshipped Inti, the all-powerful sun god. And Inti was generally believed to be benevolent, but solar eclipses were understood to be a sign of his wrath and displeasure. And then we have the Native American, according to Choctaw legend, a mischievous black squirrel gnawing on the sun is the cause of the eclipse. I love that. It's just a squirrel. Like the Chinese dragon, the squirrel might be frightened away by the clamor and yells of the events human witnesses. And peoples have story that a boy, you know what I'm liking? I'm liking how everyone has their own like cultural reference in here. You know what I mean? Whether it be religion or just like whatever is culturally important in their area, or like that animal that's in their area. Overall, right? I guess it's the idea, I'm assuming the reason why it's a bad omen or bad luck is the idea that like, oh, why would you take away the sun? It's like taking away something for a moment, or like, and maybe that's why. That I guess makes sense culturally, especially like I feel like now there's a lot of explanations for everything, but like if you think about history and culture and where everything was long, many years ago, right? It's just like, whoa, what's happening? You know what I mean? And so then they have an explanation. And so then for them, it's kind of like, I mean, we still do that today if you think about it. Like, obviously, solar eclipses are scientific, like, we understand what's going on now, right? But there's a lot of things in our lives that we see that's like, oh, this is not like what happens every other day. It must be bad. You know what I mean? Like, we put those labels on everything we do, and we don't realize it until later we get educated and like, oh yeah, that's really not that bad. You know what I mean? Or maybe it is bad and we realize it later. And what's interesting to me is that notice that how these are all not like, okay, in the same area. These are every different region of the world. I'm curious why. Maybe there is like a European ancient history as well, but it's not on this particular article. But pretty much every continent, not Australia and Antarctica, but are caught on this. And that's interesting. That's like pretty much everyone has like the same ideas in the sense of like something bad must have happened. You know what I mean? Like that means everyone's idea of taking away the light, all of a sudden is like a bad interpretation. Does that make sense? I hope that made sense. Let me know if you guys got to see the solar eclipse. How much of the sun or moon did you get to see? I saw a lot of people post pictures, but if you haven't already, comment down below the moon symbol or the sun symbol. Anyways, next is David Chang. Do you guys know who David Chang is? Do you not? But I watched a lot. How I got introduced to him was Netflix. So he had a lot of Netflix shows, and he was introducing especially, I believe, Korean food. Okay, sorry. I had to look it up. The show was called Ugly Delicious. That was what the show's name is. But he's been on many shows. Now I'm looking at it. Dinner Time Live with David Chang. Chris and David Dine Out. The Mind of... Oh, that's Chrissy Teigen. John Legend's wife. And then The Mind of Chef. Breakfast, Lunch, and Dinner. Man, he has so many shows. The Next Thing You Eat. Wow. That's a lot. Why am I talking about David Chang? So he owns this company, right? Called Momofuku. You can buy noodles, soy noodles, like different kinds of products in the Momofuku. It's also a restaurant, by the way. It comes with spicy noodles, scallions, different kinds of noodles, soy sauce, some kind of seasoned salt, and then chili crunch. That chili crunch that he has on here, that's what's going to come important in this story right now. This company has sent a cease and desist letters to companies using the term chili crunch. And if you don't know what chili crunch is, here's an image. I've probably put an image up, but it's chili oil or hot oil. If you guys don't know, if you want a little spiciness into your meals, it's great. I love it. It's good stuff. They're using the term chili crunch and chili, same silently. Oh, okay. I'm reading chili crunch and chili crunch. I'm like, what? But then I realized they just spelled it. Like one's like Chile, like the country, and one's like Chile. Like, I don't know why I sounded this out. Pretty much it's different variation spellings, but the same thing. And on their condiment labels and trying to trademark chili crunch with the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office. So Michael Tu, founder of the Malaysian food brand Homia, based in New York City, is one of the letter recipients. So it's multiple people. It's not just one person. It states that Momofuku is the owner of all the trademark marks for Chili Crunch and Chili Crunch. Oh gosh, this whole double doing it is killing me. And that her product, Homia Sambal Chili Crunch, is a trademark infringement. Tu said her Chili Crunch is based on her Malaysian family's recipe. But I'm catching what they're throwing here. Recipe where she grew up. Momofuku is concerned that consumers might confuse a jar of Homia's Sambal Chili Crunch, which was a colorful floral motif paper label, with a jar of Momofuku Chili Crunch, which is minimalist with a hand-drawn font and no paper label. Homia has 90 days to cease the use of the Chili Crunch trademark. Each brand has its own recipe of the chili condiment, but that's not the point though. Sorry, I'm thinking as I'm reading. Each brand has its own recipe of the chili condiment, which calling it a chili oil, chili crisp, chili crunch, chili sauce, or a combination thereof, product labels reflected the shared vernacular, but Momofuku is specifically targeting those using the term chili crunch and chili crunch. Once again, I keep falling for it. I swear, my brain's just on auto mode. And I'll be like, chili crunch. And chili crunch, I'm like, dang it. So there's several other brands. And it seems like, so as the word of the spread of Momofuku among food entrepreneurs made the chili condiment, reactions range from fear and annoyance to disappointment and astonishment. Okay, well, I need to step a few backs here. And just as an example too, he is of Korean descent, but what Tu had said was that if Kraft Heinz hit me up with a cease and desist, it would have been distressing, says Tu. But the fact that it was Momofuku made me feel really, really sad. Now, I need to understand this from the back. There's 2 points, and I'll get to the rest of this, which I'm glad this article did. It's by The Guardian, by the way. They answered my question in the article. In the sense of like, let's pretend all legal things aside, move it to the side and all that stuff, right? I think there is an aspect of what this two person is referencing of like, sadness, is that you would assume that like, he grew as an Asian, David Chang, he grew, so he should also be uplifting his community and other people that are also trying to grow, right? And the thing is, if you're putting cease and desist, it's like similar to how like there's people that are on YouTube or like all over, like, there are people that get silenced or like they don't want others to succeed, but they want to succeed, right? Which is not a very proactive way of thinking, you know what I mean? Because the thing is like, yes, you have the success, but you also want to put others, because you have to be confident in yourself too, that like people like your stuff, right? And I'm assuming, as these people say, they're different recipes, taste different, everything's different. You have to be open. It's like there's so much milk in the world, you know what I mean? There's so much this company, that company, you know what I mean? Yes, they're all competition, but I feel like because they're much smaller, it's not like, once again, he's competing against a huge conglomerate. It's like a very small business company that I don't think it would have honestly made a difference if they grew. Maybe, like, that's just my opinion, right? Like, I haven't seen these brands like in a grocery store near me, so maybe it's just like, I don't know, you're stunting the growth, man. And it's like stunting the growth of others, and I get it, but I don't get it. I mean, and I get why the guy is saying that, like, he's sad, because that was another discussion I heard from other people saying, like, oh, you're not supporting, like, the Asian community, right? And, like, uplifting everyone else. Now, the thing is, you may be thinking exactly what I was thinking as I was reading the article. If he created this line called Chili Crunch, I think it's fair in a sense, like, oh, Chili Crunch, like, I've never heard of it, right? So I don't know if that's what's like referred to it. But if he made that brand new and that's like something he made and innovated himself, then yeah, that's technically, how is it fair? And he came out with it first, right? He invented it. He came with it first, and everyone else like named their stuff after. Unfortunately, after, meaning date-wise and everything, it's pretty bad. Pretty bad meaning like I can see the fairness. However, this lovely article says right here, I'm so happy. Momofuku does own the trademark rights to Chili Crunch, registered to the USPTO, which is the patent, I think. Momofuku acquired Chili Crunch in 2023 from the Denver company Chili Colonial LLC as a part of a legal settlement. Chili Colonial had taken a legal action against Momofuku for trademark infringement, unfair competition. According to court documents, Chili Crunch is the brand name of a chili condiment made by Chili Colonial. Which has been on the market for more than a decade. It's a Mexican version of chili crisp, typically called salsa macha. Chili is chili in Spanish. Oh God, so many chilies. Momofuku licenses the trademark to a third party according to its cease and desist letter. If Google cannot give me a definition and it goes to something else, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to type this in. And I remember with what's her name, Kim Kardashian. Do you remember when she has that clothing brand called Skims? It was originally not called Skims. It was called Kimono. And so then, first of all, I was just like, when I heard kimono, I was like, that's a common word. That's like a whole like I believe it's Japanese outfit. I'm like, you're gonna try and trademark a whole culture? Like, oh, that was like, I was just mind blown. First of all, I'm like, you're telling me, like, not a single person thought, unless she did it for more like the, oh, I want to get like riled up, but like the fact that the country also got involved, I think it was Japan, got involved in like saying like, hey, like, please don't do this kind of thing. Absolutely insane. Like, how are you going to trademark a whole, it's like saying, oh, I'm going to trademark jeans. Bruh, jeans? Like, that's the equivalence of saying like she was trademarking kimono just because it came in it. I'm like, girl, get yourself together. Anyways, but she changed it to Skims at least. At least that sounds better. And like Skims. Anyways, what I did was I just Googled what is Chili Crunch because that was the first thing I wanted to know. And obviously we're going to set aside any article too because articles are just coming from that particular article about, what he's talking about. But here, there's already a thing called chilicrunch.com. Then there's Tasting Table, which now I'm just very curious when these are all posted. See, these are all posted like last year. And it literally explains, right? Like one person says, while both Chili Crisp and Chili Crunch may at first glance appear to be similar oily based mixtures of peppers and spice in jars, the inclusion of peanuts, soybeans, and sesame will take Chili Crunch to a chewier level than the crispy spoonful of Chili Crisp. So why is Chili Crisp so, like, this is a common word. What are some of your see, someone even said it on Reddit 8 months ago. What are your alternatives? Yeah, see, it's even on Wikipedia. It's on Wikipedia. Wikipedia has its own page about Chili Crisp or chili, like its own hot oil. So this is a name that is called. So he doesn't have, personally in my belief, he doesn't have the right to be like, I'm trademarking it. It's mine now. No, that makes no sense. It's like someone, once again, equivalent to saying if a company were to be like, I'm going to trademark olive oil. Yep, none of y'all can use it or you got to pay me. So no olive oil. That makes no literal sense. It's one thing if he actually, and thing is like, my thing is, why are companies and like, why is his team not Googling it? Like, is this a common word? Because it took me like 5 minutes to see that it's a common word. Like, I call it hot oil, but obviously it's Chili Crisp. And it's the same thing that I'm using. So it's like, and thing is, what are you trying to do? You know what I mean? And if there's multiple ways, like hot oil, Chili Crisp, I don't know if they're all the same, but you know what I mean? It's like, why are you... So then, like... And I can see, and now taking that in, right? Because now we're going step by step. So going back to the two TEW2s, like point of view of sadness, yeah, this makes a lot more sense. Because you're trying to tell me I can't use this word, even though it's a common word. And like, a lot of these people, I'm assuming, are all small businesses. And he's like a big guy meaning like, popularity and like more power in terms of like, more money for his company and all that stuff. So to do that to like someone, and the thing is, it's like, one thing I don't think people understand is like, I think there's a YouTube channel too. Like there's these people that get like cease-and-desist letters, right, from lawyers. It's not like you can be like, okay, I'm just going to ignore it. No, these people have to pay for lawyers and pay for things for this to go away and like fight being like why this is not right. Do you know what I mean? And they have to use up their time and figure out like what to do. So it's not like, oh, okay, it's like I'm done. And the fact that like, at least if it was something creative, you know what I mean? That it genuinely he made himself, I could totally be like, okay, yeah, you're right, man. But I don't know, once again, it says he's the founder of the company. I'm wondering if he actually is like responsible for this stuff and him like going in and kind of reaching out to these people or, the face of like this, because this sounds whack, honestly. It says here, the purpose of a trademark law is to protect consumers from being duped by counterfeit products and to protect business owners from being impersonated. If you don't know, Disney is very strict about that stuff, okay? Disney is very strict. I think like recently, there were old versions of like Mickey Mouse, I believe, that were released. And if I'll show you the images here that were recently released, that they lost their copyright because after a while, I think they got special permission. I know I'm going on a tangent again, but Disney got special permission from Congress or I think it was Congress, got special permission from the government to keep using that copyright, because I guess after a while the copyright expires and you can't like renew it. But for them, because obviously it's Disney and such a big brand and company, they were able to extend it, but now they can't extend it anymore. So those images you're seeing here are now copyright free, so you can use them on anything if you want to, I heard. Anyways, so many entrepreneurs who make a chili condiment feel the motivation behind Momofuku's trademark campaign is to stifle competition. It feels like it's not done with good intent, says Wong of Mila about Momofuku's aggressive cease-and-desist letter campaign, like potentially boxing out smaller competitors and trying to own a space that's tough to own. And that is, I mean, I agree. I feel like it's been growing, like like the Asian culture, like a lot of Westerners following or watching, a lot of Eastern movies, shows, and being more into the culture and like all that, and trying the food and eating, and especially like things like hot oil and all that stuff become more and more in demand, and people want different stuff. Like even like, for example, kimchi, right? Obviously for people that are Korean, yes, kimchi, there's probably multiple brands, but in America, once other people outside the culture starts wanting more, then it becomes like a bigger market, right? Now the amount of people coming is not just Korean people, but every other culture too wanting to try kimchi, or they'll like their own versions, and there's different things that are opening. But I wonder if David Chang's going to say something, because obviously this is Momofuku's, but I feel like if he's the founder and he does have power, he honestly, it's disappointing in my opinion that he's doing this, but I wonder if he's going to say anything in the coming days or announce anything, or just like say his piece, because it'll be funny if he says like, yeah, I'm not involved in this anymore, but he is. Okay, sir. Okay. But sorry, that was a lot about chili crisps. Okay. I love chili crisps actually. There was one other topic. I was actually about to do the outro, and then I was like, oh la la la. The camera shut down because it was like, oh, it's too hot in here, and I'm like, okay, fine. And so then I was like, okay, let me look on TikTok, and I completely forgot about a whole topic. Do you know what that topic is? Do you guys know Carom? Like the Carom board? If you don't know, I'll put a Carom board here. And go like, pow, pow. I'm really bad at it, by the way. I love playing. Maybe because I'm so bad at it. That's why I love playing it. Anyways, all of a sudden, on my TikTok today, do you know what gets recommended to me? A account. And it's going over a video. And I don't know if you guys can hear this. Hold on. Let me play. And I'll record the video too while I am doing this. So then, hold on. Okay, microphone. And I will stay quiet for you guys. So I'm going to play this TikTok, and you guys will see it here or there. And I will show it to you guys, okay? Ready?
We're 4 best friends starting a game company called Carom. This is day 2. We started the day off with coffee and pastries, then we all came home and worked for a few hours. Sam and Kobe are visiting from Portland for the weekend, and it's rare we're all in person together, so this was really nice. Then we took a break to play Carom. Sam and I won. We're testing our prototype board right now. The final product is going to be a little different, but we just want to make sure it's perfect for you guys. Then we walked to lunch, forgot to film the food. And then we came back to keep working before going to a hardware store for sandpaper. More on that in a later video.
Okay, whatever. They're now eating food, okay? And the reason why this is such a big deal is because I remember so literally in the very beginning, see, she specifically says in the very beginning, we're 4 best friends, like starting a game called Carom. There's no background, no nothing, right? Now, what's interesting is I gave them the benefit of the doubt. Like this is this white lady that's like, there's this white lady that's doing this game, or I think she's in charge of like the social media. No. It's no meaning what the problem was I was like, what? I don't know if this is right. Like day 2, like you were like the game. And I remember before even seeing the Carom board, because if you saw in the video, you see the Carom board. Before even seeing that, I'm like, Carom, I'm like the board game. And I was like, no way, because she just said she like like how the sentence was formed was as if they were creating Carom. Do you know what I mean? Like, as if, like, the sentence was not formed as, like, oh, I was influenced, or we love the game, we're just making a new board, or, like, improving the board, whatever, right? They're just, like, make as if it's their own. And I'm like, what? Interestingly enough, do you know what happens? I go onto their account, and they have a bunch of other videos, and they give a little bit more explanation in terms of, like, one of the friends in the group, they introduced the friend group, like, the girlfriend, which is the white lady, to the game. They loved it, and they introduced their friends, and they're like, oh, why don't we introduce it to America, like in America? And I'm just like, what? But they never say the whole improvements factor, if that makes sense. They're just like kind of like making it sound like, I don't even know how to explain it. It's like kind of like, oh, they want to introduce to America and they're trying to make it their own, right? Funny enough, all those videos, there's now only 2 videos on their account now. All the other ones are gone. And now they're like Instagram, like the comment section on that video. And what's funny is that video is a problematic video, right? That's the one that's causing the problem. But that's the one that's staying up. Isn't that ironic? I feel like this is like day 2 or whatever, I believe she said. Is it day 2? Yeah, day 2. There's a day 1, and that one seems a little bit more relaxed, and like, okay, I get it. But this one, relaxed meaning like, okay, it's not offensive. But it's the fact that this one, that's obviously getting negative like feedback, is the one that stays online. Anyways, they reply back saying, hi everyone, thank you to everyone liking and commenting. We want to address some things. It says, we started our business Carom out of love for the original game from India. One of our founders grew up playing it and introduced the rest of us to it. We fell in love with the game and simply want to share with everyone else who's never heard of it before. We're keeping the original rules and structure of Carom, but adding our own twist to the frame to incorporate fun design elements like coin holders and round pockets. We don't think there is anything wrong with the original board game or game. We simply want to make it known to a wider audience and make it easier for everyone living in the United States to get a board and play too. And one thing, I love I clicked it. It's like, truly wishing nothing but bad things for your company. Sorry. That was somebody's comment. I'm like, because thing is, either they deleted it or they did like a anti-bullying protection. So literally every single comment that was just like, what is going on? What is this? What is that? Got removed. And now it's all like, minus those 2 comments, everything else is really nice. Now the thing is, if that is what you want your company to be, you have to proclaim it. You have to proclaim that, like, hey, we really love this game, Carom. It's a game from India. Our friend, the background, you know what I mean? We love this game and its innovation. And, as we play, like, we play it every night. And, we're thinking of like, oh, we wish we had this. We wish we had that. You know what I mean? Or like, light little teasers of what's improved. Or like, we wish it was portable. You know what I mean? Or maybe like a smaller version that we can just tuck away. Like those kinds of small things. And I feel like then, in a certain extent, people would, I feel, be a little bit better in taking in what you're saying. Do you know what I mean? Because like, you're just saying like you created a game. Girl, what? Chow, what? It was very good videos. And I personally believe like if they, meaning quality of the TikTok, like how they did it, like the quality of whoever recorded, it was very good. But I think it has to be more tailored to the fact that it is coming from another culture. So you have to heavily in the beginning, when you're introducing this new company and new idea, you have to kind of bring it up like, hey, like your love for the game, the culture, and you want to bring it to the United States and make it more like, what do you want to make better about the game, right? Better about the game meaning, oh, you want to make, some people, I get it. Like the board is this big, like the size of your table. You want to make it smaller. Like, that's how you promote it. But like it got negative. Like when I even heard it, I was like, And I'm usually not a person that like when I hear these like things or cultural stuff and people like do this kind of things, I'm like, why? But this one got me upset because I'm just like, what? Because like how the video is just made is kind of like, and there was a video. I remember watching the video and the wording is just not coming out right. It's not. Whoever, like someone needs to take this girl's video, listen to it and see what is offensive. Because obviously, becoming very obvious to me from all these girls releasing the video, because she said she's responsible for social media. She is not aware of what she is saying at all. Like when I say she's not aware, because at one point, I'm pretty sure she said to make it easier for people in the United States. But in this comment, she's saying access. So that's different. Do you know what I mean? Like when you say you're making it easier, that means you're saying that it has to be pretty much westernized for people in the Western culture. They can't just learn. You know what I mean? Which is all about like the like westernizing and racism and everything, right? It's like the fact that people won't take the time to learn somebody else's culture. People won't take the time to be like, oh, this is your culture. We love it. You know, this is that thing. Like, how are you going to do that? Do you know what I mean? Like, and that's what I think is bothering me so much about this. And I'm just like shocked. And I think they're going to have to do a lot of cleanup, and we'll see if they have any updates about like a video and like them talking. Because I think they do need four people all sitting down in front of the camera and explaining like, hey, this is what it is. And they need to keep doing that until they start playing the game and start promoting and getting the board and start selling. Because no matter what, you're taking it from a culture, you cannot, this should be applicable for anything, right? Like if you're trying to make it, I get it, but it's just like, it's so much more risky. Even if it's like 4 Indian people, at least it's like a little bit like, okay, you can understand, like they probably played and all that stuff. But it's also on top of that, unfortunately, there's that whole cultural thing that not everyone's Indian in this friend group. So you're going to face that backlash, but just stop making TikToks and think about what you're saying before posting. And honestly, in my opinion, I'm understanding 1000% that the person who posted this video either 1, wanted to comment on that video and just like let it go, or 2, still wanted the hype, because they always say bad press is good press to Chapetas. Bad press is like good press in the sense of like people are still talking about you. So I just find that very, very interesting that they still have that one video and this other random video of like, oh, POV, you replaced, ditch your screenplay, Carom instead. Do you know what I mean? But anyways, we shall see what's the update. And tell me what you guys think about that too. I know I said before, but let me know what you guys think about like this whole trademark in terms of like the chili crisp, which now I'm thinking about it, how did I get these both related? The chili crisp, also this whole like Carom, you know what I mean? A lot of things are talking about culture, freedom of speech, right? And what's the difference about like someone can trademark something that already exists and somebody that can, also that's another question, going back to the chili crisp, how are they going to trademark Carom? It's a game that already exists. But tell me what your thoughts are about this, about like the whole trademarking for the chili crisp with David Chang, and then things like this Carom and this new game that's coming out, or see, even I said it, this new game that's coming out. What do you think the best approach is when trying to make an improvement on an already existing game? What do you think? Thank you so much for watching the video. Don't forget to like this video. And also, I'm trying to get to 100 subscribers. So if you can, and if you have a Google account, don't forget to subscribe to the Mindful Tangents. And also, if you have an Instagram account, don't forget to follow the Mindful Tangents on Instagram. We'll get updates and also updates on if I'm late for uploading or posting and all those kinds of fun stuff. So thank you so much for all your support, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye.